Kindness is praised. It is worshipped. It is seen as a universal good. But behind many acts of kindness lies something colder: calculation, self-preservation, image management. The world has always rewarded the appearance of virtue more than virtue itself. And Niccolò Machiavelli knew that. He saw it not as cynicism, but clarity. When Machiavelli wrote The Prince, he wasn't offering guidance to saints. He was writing survival strategies for rulers living in brutal, uncertain times. He understood something uncomfortable: that power and goodness rarely coexist in pure form. And when they do, power almost always devours goodness. So what is kindness in the eyes of the powerful? Often it's a disguise, a shield, a performance, not a reflection of moral character, but of strategy. This isn't just a political insight. It applies to relationships, business, leadership, even social media. And the sooner you see it, the less you'll be deceived by it, or destroyed by your own sincerity. Machiavelli didn't advocate for evil. He held up a mirror, one that reflected the world as it was, not as we wished it to be. In the mirror, kings smiled while plotting betrayals. Popes spoke of mercy while burning heretics. Friends offered warmth while sharpening their knives behind your back. To Machiavelli, these weren't anomalies. They were the rule. And in this world, the leader who clings to virtue without awareness of strategy is a lamb among wolves. He wrote that a ruler must learn how not to be good, not because goodness is useless, but because goodness without strategy is dangerous. It invites betrayal. It signals weakness. It gives your enemies a manual on how to undo you. The illusion of kindness, then, becomes a necessary weapon. When people believe you are merciful, they lower their guard. When they see generosity, they stop questioning your motives. Power, cloaked in compassion, becomes invisible. That was Machiavelli's genius, not in creating manipulation, but in noticing that it already ruled the world. The illusion of kindness works because human beings are wired to respond to appearances. Our minds crave patterns and shortcuts. We judge books by covers, people by smiles, and leaders by tone. A firm handshake, a warm expression, a well-timed compliment. These can override logic. We like to think we're rational, but we're not. We don't follow truth. We follow what feels good, what seems safe, and nothing feels safer than kindness. The powerful understand this. They know you don't have to be kind. You only have to appear kind. And once that image is locked in the mind of others, your actions are judged less harshly, your words carry more weight, and your flaws are forgiven. Even in modern life, this psychology dominates. Politicians kiss babies while signing bills that harm them. CEOs donate to charities while exploiting labor. Influencers talk about mental health while selling insecurity. It isn't hypocrisy, it's branding. Kindness is no longer an ethical choice. It's a performance strategy, a way to gain followers, not build character. Machiavelli saw this centuries ago. He knew that in a world where perception shapes power, the illusion is often more important than the truth. Real kindness doesn't advertise itself. It's quiet. It sacrifices without recognition. It gives without asking for return. And because of that, it is vulnerable. In a world that equates value with visibility, quiet kindness is often mistaken for weakness. This is where the Machiavellian insight cuts deep. If you are truly kind, and nothing else, you risk being used, ignored, or discarded. Because the world is not built to protect the sincere. It rewards the strategic. That doesn't mean you shouldn't be kind, but it does mean you should never be naive. Boundaries matter. Awareness matters. You can be kind, but only when you choose to be, not when others demand it. Otherwise, you are not offering kindness. You are offering submission. The illusion of kindness, then, becomes not just a tactic of rulers, but a survival tool for anyone who doesn't want to be devoured by a world that punishes softness. In today's world, kindness has become a product. Corporations use it in marketing. Politicians build campaigns around it. Social movements are judged by how palatable they seem, not how truthful they are. Everyone wants to look good, sound good, feel good, and that's the trap. Because once kindness becomes a strategy for influence, it loses its moral value. It becomes theater. But this theater is powerful. A single act of symbolic generosity can generate loyalty for decades. A moment of staged empathy can erase a history of cruelty. A well-edited photo with a child, a tearful apology, a charitable donation, all can become weapons of control. The public, hungry for heroes, eats it up. And Machiavelli would have nodded in approval, not at the morality, but at the efficiency. Because in his view, a leader who masters the illusion can bend the will of the people without ever drawing a sword. So where does that leave us? If kindness is illusion, if appearances rule over essence, are we doomed to deception? Not necessarily. The Machiavellian perspective isn't a guide to cruelty. It's a warning against blindness. It tells us, be aware, be deliberate. Use appearances, but don't be consumed by them. The most powerful people are not those who lie, but those who understand when to tell the truth and when to remain silent. Those who know when kindness is strength and when it is surrender. You don't have to abandon goodness, but you must refuse to be exploited by it. True power comes not from pretending to be kind or being endlessly kind, but from choosing kindness with your eyes open, from using it as a tool, not a leash, from understanding that even compassion, when wielded consciously, can reshape the world. And in that, Machiavelli offers a strange kind of wisdom, not to discard morality, but to master it. Beneath the illusion of kindness lies something deeper, something far more dangerous than manipulation. It's the hunger to be liked, to be accepted, to be seen as good. And that desire, innocent as it may seem, is one of the easiest ways to lose your power. When your sense of self depends on how others see you, you become easy to control. Praise lifts you. Criticism crushes you. You bend to expectation, not principle. You perform kindness, not because it's right, but because you're terrified of being disliked. That's not virtue, that's bondage. Machiavelli warned about this. He wrote that it is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. Not because fear is more beautiful, but because it is more stable. Love is fickle. Praise is conditional. It can turn to betrayal the moment you stop giving people what they want. And when your kindness is driven by the need to be loved, it becomes hollow, performative, weak. A tool used not to build connection, but to avoid rejection. That's not strength. That's survival on your knees. But when you rise above the need to be liked, something changes. You become honest, director, unshakable. Your kindness is no longer a plea for acceptance. It becomes a choice, a controlled fire. Something you give because you want to, not because you're afraid not to. This is the most dangerous kind of kindness because it is clean, strategic, rooted in awareness, not fear. And when others feel it, they don't mistake it for softness. They respect it because they can sense it's not a performance. It's power wrapped in silence. So ask yourself, is your kindness real? Or is it a strategy for safety? Are you offering connection or buying approval? Because until you confront that question, the illusion will own you. And the most dangerous part? You'll think it's who you really are. We often imagine kindness as harmless, as soft, as something passive, gentle, even naive. But what if kindness, in the right hands, becomes a weapon? Not one that wounds, but one that conquers quietly, invisibly. That's the kind of power Machiavelli hinted at, where kindness is no longer about morality, but mastery. Because here's the truth. Real influence doesn't always come from fear or dominance. Sometimes it comes from giving someone what they crave: validation, attention, warmth, and then shaping their behavior through it, not by force, by trust, by emotion. That's why the illusion of kindness is so effective. People let down their guard when they feel understood, when they feel seen. They'll follow you, not because you're right, but because you made them feel something no one else did. And if you're conscious, if you understand what you're doing, that becomes one of the most powerful tools in existence. Entire empires have been won, not with violence, but with charm. Movements built, not on logic, but on the emotional gravity of a leader who knew how to appear kind. But here's where it turns dark. The moment you master this illusion, you are faced with a question that no one talks about. Will you use it? Because the ability to influence hearts through kindness is seductive. It's clean. It doesn't feel like control, but it is. And once you see that, you're no longer just navigating the world. You're sculpting it with your voice, your presence, your emotional intelligence. It stops being about goodness and becomes about outcome. And that is where the true ethical weight lies. Not in pretending kindness is pure, but in deciding when to wield it and when to hold it back. Not all weapons look like knives. Some look like smiles. Machiavelli didn't reject morality. He exposed the game behind it. And if you don't see the illusion, you're likely being shaped by it. So ask yourself, is your kindness a choice or a habit? If this made you think, subscribe for more. Drop a comment, was Machiavelli right? And share this with someone who still thinks appearances don't matter.